So I want to thank all of you for coming. It's really wonderful to have so many people up here and so much excitement and everybody working together, for a common purpose and a common cause. And it's really nice, I think, for us here at the Abbey and for all of you. And so I want to thank Sarah and Doug for your thought to have, a day, one day a month where we have kind of a community work party, so to speak. So this morning I was, this afternoon I'm going to go out in the forest, but this morning I was working on some writing, and so I was reading something that His Holiness the Dalai Lama had talked about, so I thought to share that with you. And he was saying, that normally in our lives we are very, very self-focused and think, I've got to be completely focused on my needs and my wants and my feelings and getting my way and making sure I'm heard and that people listen to me and that people care about me. And, we're always so much intoxicated with ourselves. Yeah. And he says that this kind of thing just leads us down the wrong path because, where does all this self-centeredness get us to? Nowhere, it just causes conflicts. It makes us make really dumb decisions in our life. Yeah, you have examples in your life? I have examples in mine of dumb decisions I've made, overpowered by kind of self-centered concern and self-preoccupation. And so he says, even as a spiritual value, focus on others is of course something very important, and having love and compassion for others is important for our spiritual practice. But he's saying even in your regular old human life, whether you're a spiritual person or not, having an attitude that is focused and centered on the welfare of others actually makes our own life happier. Yeah, because when we really open our eyes and look at, all the sentient beings around us and realize that our actions affect not only ourselves, but affect all of them, and that then, we affect them, then they in turn affect us, so we're all affecting each other all the time. And so if we can act with an attitude of care and concern for others, it helps us because, when we have an attitude of kindness towards others, then they feel better. They're kinder, they respond to us with kindness, then of course we feel better. There's less problems in our relationships, less conflict, and and we also feel better about ourselves, don't we? Because when we're really wrapped up in self-concern, then we tend to get so angry and so greedy, and then we feel really crummy about ourselves. But when, we let our heart open with an attitude of kindness to others and recognize that they all want to be happy like we do and work for their happiness, yeah, then we feel good about ourselves. Our own self-esteem goes like this, So it's so interesting, isn't it, that when the self-focus makes the self-esteem go down, the other focus makes the self-esteem go up. So very much from a Buddhist view, there's this idea that care, it's not a choice of caring for ourselves or caring for others, because we're all part of sentient life. And so we've got to care for all of us because we're so interwoven. And the more we care for everybody together, be it the individuals right in front of our nose or everybody on the planet, but the more we can do this, the more we have a peaceful heart and mind ourselves, And then, of course, that ripples out and affects everybody we come in contact with. So the thing is that this sounds very nice as a philosophy, and we all agree with it when we're sitting here. Yeah. The trick is when we get up from here and we're interacting with others to have that same kind of attitude of concern for others' feelings, concern for their welfare, wish for them to have happiness in its causes. You know, even to the point where we restrain some of our own selfish things because we really cherish the welfare and well-being of others. Yeah, and when we can do that in our actions, you know, then it really has a very profound effect on our lives and on the lives of others. And you can see this in the example of the Dalai Lama himself. I mean, he was a refugee. He had to flee his country when he was 24 years old. Yeah, went into a country where he didn't know anybody and didn't know the language and what was going on. And has lived as a refugee, you know, from 1959 until now, and yet he's a happy person. And he tells the Tibetans not to hate the Chinese communists, who were the ones who, you know, ruffled things up in Tibet that was the cause of their fleeing, you know. And he says, no, don't hate them. Yeah, they're sentient beings like us. And so I think that's a very powerful message, yeah, that instead of, you know, hating your enemy, you try and understand what the feelings and needs and concerns of those people are and have a genuine interest. Because if the people we don't like, who we see as our enemies, if they can be happy, they will stop doing the things that drive us nuts. Yeah, they will stop harming us. Because why do other people harm us? You know, well, sometimes we do inconsiderate things that make them unhappy. Or maybe they're unhappy because of some other reason. But it's always unhappiness that drives others to harm us, or that drives us to harm others. So if we can work for the welfare and well-being of others, then they won't suffer so much. They'll be happier. They won't do so much harm to us and to others. Yeah? So you see, you know, this is the whole root of His Holiness's philosophy of if you want to be take care of yourself, the best way to do that is to take care of others. Yeah, because when we care about others and take care of others, we benefit from it. And of course, others benefit from it. Yeah, so this is something not just to like I said, you know, sit here and say, oh, that's a nice philosophy, and gee, the Pope said the same thing, isn't that nice? Now let's go out and clobber the people we don't like. No, we've got to put this into practice in our lives. Yeah, I mean, that's the real thing. And it's a training. It's definitely a training. We're not going to succeed all at once and banish our selfishness forever by tomorrow morning. You know, I mean, this is a training that we do over time, that we really keep at it. But as we do it, we can see the difference internally in our feelings about ourselves and our feelings about life, and externally in our relationships with others. So let's go for it.